And here we are a little bit hungover after our first night in Peru. So we were meant to be going out to the beach in the night time to celebrate some of the volunteers leaving and do a last bash for them. But we had lots of rain. So amidst three toads jumping in and like entering our house and Daniel having to sweep them out and other things, then we went out and we all drank in what's called the Maloca. That's the place I was in the last video where we teach English, and just had a really nice night, but I'm feeling the worst of it now. Something we found that was really funny was that one of the Spanish guys had a guitar and was singing some songs. You could hear him through the wall in our room. And the toads, which are called sapos here, were singing along, so they croak, and you could tell that when the music was playing they would croak in tune. Realised that when you start in somewhere completely new, there are a few just little milestones that you have to pass, and they're really basic. So things like, where can you get new toilet paper? Where do you take out the rubbish? And a last one for us was, can we get to the city centre by ourselves on the bus, do our things and get back? So we managed that a couple of days ago. Daniel and I headed off to Iquitos and uploaded some of our videos. It was taking the internet in the internet cafe was so slow. It was taking about an hour and a half per video. But we persevered with a bit of stress, and then we walked around Iquitos, bought myself a sketchbook, and also kind of getting into the swing of things in that we have now done flower arrangements too. And this is just like the kind of flower we've got in the garden. There's tons of them, so it's quite cool. This is the kind of flower you might pay a lot for in another life. So yeah, when I left we were going to go to a march and a protest all about human trafficking. And we went to that, and we made these placards and gigantic banners, and we were shouting along this chant, which was alerta, alerta, alerta que camina la trata de personas amenaza tu vida. And it was actually really good because with all these little children who are from CI, I guess it's their first experience of a protest, and it's really cool to get them into that so early. I admit it was my first experience of a protest as well. And on the theme of human trafficking, there was a talk at the illustrious School of Law Students, that being its name, and we went along in motor taxis to that, which was in Iquitos Centre. It was quite funny, sort of a very cream-coloured, yellowy building where you couldn't really hear the speakers, but kind of understood some of it. And there was the police there talking about human trafficking and how it's going on in Iquitos, and there were some really heartbreaking stories. So there was apparently, like, for example, the police had saved one girl who was working in Iquitos, and she was a teenager, and she was working from 9 till 11 and getting through 35 condoms a day, basically as a slave. But if she tried to escape, they would have sold her organs for more money. So it's absolutely horrendous what we heard or what we understood. And then at the end, you imagine you go to a university talk. You don't imagine you go to a birthday party. But they did. They got out this cake for one of them, and we all had to sing happy birthday. And that was the end of both quite a poignant and slightly odd talk. I wanted to share with you then the one wonderful trip we went on, which we caught the bus into Iquitos. That already takes us about an hour from Santo Tomas, and we headed off to a place called Nauta. When we got to Nauta, we got a boat, and the boat took us another hour and a half up towards what's seen as the mouth of the Amazon, where two rivers meet, and, well, not the mouth, sorry, the source. And wow, gosh, I mean, it was raining most of the way, and so it actually, like, jokingly appeared more like a Scottish summer, a bad Scottish summer day. But I really thought we weren't going to get to go out. But then we stopped in the water, and it was only raining a little, and we were told we could go swimming, and I didn't have my bathing suit. so I wasn't sure. But then you put your hand in the water and like the water is warmer than you. It's like a bath. So I had to do it. Just like went in underwear with Daniel and we like just slipped into the water because you could see grey dolphins and pink river dolphins flipping around in the water. Like here they're called bufeos, the pink river dolphins. And there's a legend that runs that those dolphins come out of the sea as gringo men and try to seduce the ladies, and because they got a snout on the top of their head they wear a top hat. But anyway, we could actually see them everywhere. And with the boat, we arrived on this island, and to get out of the boat they had to organise, the oarsmen had to organise to like move one boat in front of another. You step onto that, then you step onto another boat, and it was really precarious. And then we walked through this kind of watery rice paddy field and saw these birds and these beautiful enormous lilies. And we went to what's called the Mirador, which is a big watchtower in a rainforest village. There were these people selling jewellery, like made out of the spines of paiche, which is 2-meter fish, and lots of anaconda bones. And we liked them. But we went up to the Mirador and we looked all around, and that was the first time I had seen the proper rainforest. And my goodness, it's just, you can be in Europe and see enough castles or churches, cathedrals, but these are kind of things that you just have never seen. And the sense of awe that you get. But then the funny thing was we went back down the Mirador, and where there had been just one table set there to sell us things, there were now about 5. Because obviously they'd all been like shouting to each other and they'd all come running with their tables. So we bought some things, and I got a bracelet made out of the paiche scales. And that was us. It was just a fantastic trip. So now, the other volunteers, a few of them are leaving, so we got them a card, and as you can see, it's very hard for the children to write much. So this took them 15 minutes, and most of them just wrote their names, but we've been trying to sign the card for the other volunteers. That's really us for now, so there you go. See you.